So in plot 3 and plot 4, both of them direction is negative. That we agree. But for plot 3, for this guy, all the points like much more closely follow a straight line. But on plot 4, the linear trend is weaker. And obviously that makes for plot 3 it stronger. And we can imagine that on this guy, this one, so the linear trend is strongest. Why is it strongest? Because they fall perfectly on the line. All of these points are falling perfectly on the straight line. So you cannot get more straight line than this. That's it. Like all of you fall perfectly on a straight line. You can't be any more straight than this. Any more linear than this. So these are two concepts, direction and strength. Now let me introduce something called correlation coefficient. What this is, so what's this? So for example, suppose your data is like given in an Excel file, like there's X, there's Y. So some value, some value, some value, some value, some value, some value, dot dot dot. Oh, and actually, I can call them. Let me just call them X1, X2, X3, dot dot dot. It goes like this: Xn, Y1, Y2, Y3, dot dot dot, Yn. So now given this data, and of course we can do a scatter plot as we did before. Now suppose I'm interested about, of course I'm interested about the direction and strength. So is there any mathematical way of doing this instead of just looking the plot and guessing kind of? Because when you guess just by looking at things, that's not so mathematically solid. So how to make it mathematically solid? So that's why you need the number R. And the name of this is correlation coefficient. So what's the number R? So let me just tell you some things about the number R. It's like I'm not actually telling you how to get this number R right now, but I'm telling you some properties about it. So first of all, R is calculated from the data. That means from this table, R can be calculated. How? Wait a second, that will come later. The second thing, and this everybody knows, the correlation coefficient always lies between -1 and +1. That has to happen. That will always happen. So if R is positive, the direction is positive. If R is negative, direction is negative. Okay. Number 4, if R is close to That means suppose there's like -1 and there's +1 and there's 0 here. So if r is close to 1 or -1, any of them, so that means suppose it's somewhere here, or like, okay, that gives you the wrong idea that these are points. I'm not trying to tell you that. Suppose somewhere here in this region, or suppose somewhere here, like close to -1 or close to 1, then the like linear trend is strong. And if r is close to 0, linear trend is weak. Okay, so for example, say r equals 0.99. So then the direction is positive. Why? Because r is positive. And is it strong? Yeah, 0.99 is pretty close to 1, so it's strong. Similarly, suppose r equal to minus 0.01. In that case, direction is negative because r is negative. But how strong is it? It's like weak. Linear trend is weak. Suppose r is minus 0.85. Then once again direction is negative. Is it strong? Yeah. 0.85 is still close to 1. It's still strong. Suppose r equals 0.62. Then direction is positive, but it's moderately strong. So I mean it's going towards 0. So for example, between this guy and this guy, who is more strong? Look, in minus 0.85, the direction is negative. For 0.62, the direction is positive, but the direction does not determine the strength. So which one is more strong? So you see that 0.85, so negative 0.85, take the absolute value, it's 0.85. So 0.85 is bigger than 0.62. So in that case, I'll call this guy stronger. The linear trend is stronger here. And these things you can easily visualize. So let's do some of those, but before that, let me just give you the formula for r. So the formula for r is r equal to summation, n summation xy minus summation x times summation y divided by square root of n summation x square minus summation x whole square times square root of n summation y square minus summation y whole square. So that's a complicated formula, but let's see what each of these terms mean. So for example, summation xy, let's start with summation x, that's easiest. Summation x means just sum up all the x values, x1 plus x2 plus dot 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 xn. Take all the x values and sum them up. Similarly, you can guess summation y will mean y1 plus y2 plus dot 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 yn. So take all the y values and sum them up. Okay. So what does summation xy mean? That means x1 times y1 plus x2 times y2 plus dot 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 xn times yn. So basically, if you have data like this, multiply the x and y column, so this like x1 y1 x2 y2 x3 y3 xn yn, and then sum them up. Pretty easy. What does summation xi square mean? It means x1 square it plus x2 square it plus dot 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 xn, then square it and sum them up. Like square each of these and sum them up. What does summation yi square mean? You can guess it's like square all the terms and then add all of them up. That's it. So I mean, sometimes we write summation yi squared or sometimes we write summation y squared. Like, I mean, I can put x summation xi, or I can just write, I can write summation x or summation xi. In this case, they mean the same. Sorry, but let's not be confused with that. So if these are like specified, then the formula for R is actually this. Now, you may be thinking, how do I know that R always lies between -1 and +1? And how do I know that if R is positive, direction is positive, R negative, direction is negative? R is close to 1 or -1 means linear trend is strong. R is close to 0 is linear trend. So all these things can be mathematically proven. Like trust me on this. We are good. So just trust me on this. And so what can come in the exam is, I will tell you the values of these things. Like, you don't have to find out summation x, summation y, summation xy, all these things. You don't have to. I will give you these 5 values: value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4, value 5. And then you have to put in these values in this formula and get me R. So for example, take this guy. So here, actually you can actually see R is like 0.99, but I mean, we'll calculate that. So the question will give you this information, and then it will ask you find out R, and you have to do it. So just look at the formula, this. So let me just use the values and use the formula. So these are the values, and n is 100, remember. Now let me input the formula. So on the numerator, it should be n times